Welcome to Debutante Renegade. On today's show, Amanda Knox is guilty. But first, hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Hit the little notification button next to it so you never miss a video. Give this video a thumbs up. And if you have a question or a topic of your own you'd like me to answer, discuss, please email me debutanterenegade@gmail.com. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Now on to the subject of today's show. So, like many of you out there, I recently watched the Amanda Knox documentary on Netflix. And I thought it was a really interesting documentary. The thing about it for me, though, was that it left a very ambiguous taste in my mouth, in that at the end of the documentary, I didn't feel like I had good evidence that she was innocent or guilty. It felt ambiguous. I walked away from that documentary like, did she do it or not? Because there were things that didn't seem to add up, that were strange. And then, of course, there was this media blowing everything out of proportion as well. There was, of course, the media circus blowing everything out of proportion and emphasizing all the wrong things, kind of drawing attention away from the facts, etc. So it was hard to know whether she did it or not after what was presented in that documentary, at least for me. And that was unsatisfying. So I decided to kind of go down my own little rabbit hole, as I do with many things, and see if she was guilty or innocent, see what other evidence, what other facts were out there. And I found this really intriguing website called truejustice.org. I'll link it in the description box. And this website is run by an attorney. And I actually think several attorneys are contributing to this. And very specifically, the person who runs it is a practicing trial lawyer who does these types of trials for a living. This is a practicing trial lawyer who runs this site and is the primary contributor. There are other attorneys contributing to it as well, but these are professional law practitioners. These are people that practice law professionally and have a lot of experience and knowledge on the subject. So for me, this is a trusted source and not just some internet sleuths with an opinion on the matter. These are professionals. If you go to this website, you'll find an overwhelming amount of facts that point to Amanda Knox's guilt, as well as her boyfriend. There's so many things, from a witness at a convenience store at like 7:30 in the morning who saw her buying cleaning products at that time when she was supposedly at her boyfriend's house, and one of the murder weapons ends up at her boyfriend's house and it's been cleaned with bleach and it has the murder victim's DNA on it, but they're calling it inconclusive. And the fact that their stories don't add up, and Amanda Knox and her boyfriend's stories, they don't add up across the board. They have different stories. And I think this is why, if you actually look at the facts and you read through the trial, you see why she was convicted, not once, but twice, guilty of this crime, because there is a lot of evidence to point in that direction. And I realized that, in the appellate courts and the appeals process, she was able to walk away free, but there is good reason why she was convicted in the first place. And there's also just a lot of DNA of hers found where it shouldn't be in regards to the crime scene, like her blood mixed with the victim's blood throughout the place. And the whole kind of staged break-in, how there was like an obviously staged break-in, like the law enforcement could tell from the get-go that this was a staged break-in. And why would somebody who actually broke in and didn't have a key to the place stage a break-in? The mere fact that there is a staged break-in implies that the murderer had access to the home without having the need to break in. So that's an interesting fact. And just the overall series of events seems to point to guilt. She arrives home and there's this weird break-in and there's blood all over the bathroom, and she decides to take a shower and doesn't call the police. And then she's doing, when the police came, she was doing Meredith's laundry. She was doing the murder victim's laundry when the police arrived at the house. Like, this is not what, that's just not normal behavior. That's like very guilty behavior. And with the cleanup job, there was an obvious cleanup job with bleach of the murder scene, where a lot of DNA and evidence had been cleaned up with bleach, and they can prove this. The police proved this. However, the cleanup job seemed to leave all of Guerre, the guy, I don't know that I'm saying his name properly, Guerre, it's like Guere, but he was the one that was convicted and went to jail. But his DNA and evidence of him is very much left on the scene, and everything around his evidence and DNA of being there was cleaned up. But you find traces of Amanda Knox and her boyfriend in what was bleached and cleaned up. So when you see all these kinds of things put together, and again, you can go to this site and look at them exactly for yourself, but when you see all this put together, it creates a very clear picture that she's guilty. And it's just, it's interesting because I feel like part of the reason why this was appealed is because of this huge media reaction. I feel like the media kind of damaged this case with making it so sensationalist, and they insulted the Italian judicial process. And I know that in America, most people think she's innocent, or maybe not most, but I think a lot of people think she's innocent. The way that it was portrayed in our media, it's presumed that she's innocent, and that the Italian courts are insufficient, and the Italian police didn't do their job right, that it was botched and they did a poor job, etc. But if you look at the evidence and the facts, it actually looks pretty thorough, like they did a pretty good job, but that the media definitely blew things out of proportion. And I know in Britain too, where the murder victim is from, that many think that Amanda's guilty. In Britain and in Italy. So the US is a little bit different in that regard. I would encourage everyone to go look at the facts and the evidence against Amanda Knox, because it's a lot. There's a lot of evidence to prove her guilt. You can see how she was easily convicted, not once but twice. And in truth, I think she belongs behind bars. And it's scary to me that she's walking around. I think she's married and even has a baby now. And, she promotes herself as this wrongly accused person. But it's upsetting, actually, that she's out there doing what she's doing when she is so obviously guilty. It creeps me out. It really does. So I think it's interesting. I'm really curious what you guys think. If you tell me in the comments if you think she's innocent or guilty. If you think she's innocent, tell me why. Point me in the direction of something that you think proves her innocence. And if you think she's innocent, again, I would recommend you go to this truejustice.org site and look at the facts. And I wonder if it would change your opinion, because after hearing about the story and watching the documentary, I wasn't sure what to think. I will say this. Watching the documentary, my own intuitive spidey sense, my intuitive gut feeling pulled me in the direction of her guilt. Something about her just intuitively felt guilty. It just did. And that's just my gut feeling on this situation. But, I'm very open to that being wrong, my gut feeling. But that's kind of what led me to research it and find out more and read more about the case. And in doing so, it reinforced my gut feeling. I was like, okay, I had this my spidey sense was like, this person is not innocent for a reason. But I think it's a fascinating case and story, and I hope at some point she'll be rightfully convicted and imprisoned in Italy, where she belongs, for the murder of this innocent young woman who deserves justice. So I think her name's Meredith. The victim's name is Meredith. It's an awful shame what happened to her. And I hope that she'll get justice. Anyway, that's it for today. Let me know what you think. If you got something of your own, send me an email, debutanterenegade@gmail.com. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button, give me a like, comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna do one of these on Woody Allen and like the Pharaoh Allen trial, and that give my 2 cents on that. That one I've been following for years, and I've had my own opinion on that one for years. So I'll be talking about that one in a couple episodes. If you're into these types of episodes, then make sure to tune in for that one. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Have a beautiful rest of your day.